Good morning everyone. Hope you all are fine and safe at your home. So class, as we were doing the integers chapter, this is the time of exercise 1.3. So in this we are going to learn some very important rules which are of the third operation, which is called multiplication of integers. So it's very easy class, very easy. You just have to multiply simply. The one thing you have to concentrate in this is related to the signs. Okay, let's start. For example, we are going to multiply one negative number and one positive number. Okay, then in the answer you will always get the negative sign. Fine. If the first number is positive but the second one is negative, then also your answer will come in the negative form. If both the numbers which you are going to multiply are negative, then you will get the answer in positive form. Okay, just three rules and one very important thing you have to see, that in this time you will not get only two numbers to multiply, you will get many numbers. So for that, if you are getting this kind of numbers like negative into negative into negative into negative, and many numbers are there, right? So if the numbers are even times, if this negative number is even times, so your answer will get positive sign. And if this negative sign is odd times, then your answer will be negative. Okay, I hope you got this. Yes. Now we are going to start exercise 1.3, question number 1, find the product. In this, as you can see, I am starting with G class. In this, 9 multiply minus 3 multiply minus 6. Class, as the commutative property said, you can multiply the numbers in any order. Okay, so it doesn't mean that if I am multiplying these two numbers first, so you also have to do this. No, you can also multiply these two numbers also. You can also multiply 9 and 6 also. Okay, it's totally up to you. So I am multiplying 9 into minus 3, which will become minus 27, because one is positive and one is negative. And then I will multiply with this. What the answer I will get? 6, 7 to 42 means totally we get 162. But these two are negative signs, so I will get the answer in a positive form. Let's move to the next question. Here, what I feel is, rather than multiplying 18 and 5 and 4 multiplication is much easy. Okay, so I am doing 5 into 4, which will be 20. Both are negative, so I will get the answer in positive form, right? One is negative, one is positive. Okay, I will get the answer 360, normal multiplication, but I will get the answer in negative form because my number was in negative form. Okay, and next question is minus 1 multiply minus 2 multiply minus 3 multiply 4. So class, very easy. 1 into 2, 2. 2 into 3, 6. 6 into 4, 24. Very easy, 24. Yes. But see the signs. Minus is odd number of times. Okay. So the answer will definitely comes in negative form. So the answer is minus 24. If I come to the J part, minus 3 multiply minus 6 multiply minus 2 multiply minus 1. Very easy multiplication again. 3 into 6, 18 into 2, 36. So answer will come in 36. But the main thing is sign. Okay. So this time minus is even number of times. I mean 4 times. Okay. So the sign will get removed and the answer is plus 36. Okay. Class, will discuss this topic again in the next class. Right now, just I am sending you a beautiful video related to the laws of multiplication of integers. Okay. See this, practice it again. We'll discuss it again in the next class. Okay. Thank you so much.
Hello, welcome to our lesson on multiplying integers. We're going to play some cards today and learn about multiplying positive and negative numbers. Let's do it! What you can expect today is that we're going to have a short lesson with some practice and a word problem. Very similar, we've had this type of lesson before, so let's do it. Integers are positive and negative numbers. Here are some examples of integers. Just a few, so that we can get the basic idea of what we're going to be working with. When we're multiplying integers, it can basically be summed up in a game. So I'm going to play some cards, not face cards, but number cards, and the goal is to get the most number of points possible. So if I have this one, 3 times 5, the 5 is my card, that would be the same as getting 3 times that 5 card, right? So that's handed out to you and you get 3 times the 5 value. That's a great thing, right? You just gained 15 points. So that's fantastic. 3 times 5, 15, perfect, right? Multiplication is repeat adding. So 3 times 5 is the same as 5 plus 5 plus 5. And we can see that in this example. Now, what happens when we throw some negatives in there? What if you got 2 times the -3 card? Well, that would mean you had 2 -3 cards, or a -3 and a -3, and that's bad because you just gained -6 points. You don't want to gain negative points, right? Gaining negative points is not cool. So what we've just done is gained some negative points. And you can see in these two examples that it's pretty straightforward when the first number is positive. 2 negative points, or what was the other one? 3 positive cards. It all makes sense. Now we have to change the rules or add a slight rule to talk about what to do when you have a negative first number. So the negative on that first number is, instead of gaining the card, we are losing the card. So we do have 2 +3 cards, but because of that negative, we're actually losing those cards. So inside your hand, you have to find 2 +3 cards and you give them away, or you lose those cards. So you just lost 6 points. So that's a bad thing, right? That's -6. Now I want us to focus for just a minute here on these two examples before we move on. The last two examples showed the same exact thing. It said losing 6 points or gaining -6 points is the same. Those are the two examples, right? We had 2 times -3 and -2 times +3. And both of them ended up giving us the same thing. We ended up losing 6 points. Whether we were giving away 3 positive points or whether we were gaining some negative cards, both cases we're losing in the end. So we have negative. I hope that example helps to make sense there. And we have to understand those concepts of gaining and losing and negative points for this next example to make sense, because this is the one where we go kind of crazy. And it's sometimes hard to show an example where you can actually see this in an application. So here it is, -3 times -4. So remember, 3 times -4 would be 3 -4 cards. However, that negative out front says that we are losing those negative cards. So I'm going to filter through my deck and I'm going to find some -4 point cards, and I'm going to give them away or trash them, put them in the discard pile. I'm losing those ones. So that's actually losing -12 points. So I want you to think about that. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? If you have a deck of cards and you've got all these cards, positive and negative, and you get to trash 12 negative points. You get rid of 12 negative points. You lose 12 negative points. What does that mean? Well, that's a positive to your overall point scoring, right? You're getting rid of negative cards. If you were playing Dominion, you'd be trashing curse cards, right? This getting rid of negatives is a positive. And that's kind of a concept that's a little bit challenging to understand. I hope that example was sort of helpful for us. And I want you to maybe write this down or remember it, put this down somewhere, because it will never change. A negative times a negative will give you a positive every single time. In our example we just did, -3 times -4 gives us +12. It's a rule. It will always happen. That's the way it is. Great. Now it's time for some practice using a word problem. I'm going to combine those two things together. We're going to practice using a word problem. I want you to think about this question. Here we go. At night, it drops 2 degrees per hour for 8 hours in a row. If it started at 50 degrees, how many degrees did it drop? And the bonus question, what temperature is it now? So we're going to take a look at that. I want you to pause the video and try this one out on your own. Try thinking about what this means in terms of positive and negative numbers. Write it out and be ready to explain, because I'm definitely going to be listening for your explanation. All right, go for it. Welcome back. Now explain your reasoning. I'm just kidding. I can't really check that. So you're going to have to check with someone around you or see if your reasoning is the same as what my reasoning was. Let's take a look. What I said is that it drops 2 degrees per hour for 8 hours. So that's dropping 2 degrees is -2 for 8 hours. So I multiplied those. -2 degrees for 8 hours. -2 times 8. You could have also done repeat adding, where you did -2 plus -2 plus -2 plus -2 and done that 8 times. You could have done that. But because this is a lesson on multiplying, hopefully you did use multiplication. You recognize that dropping 2 degrees per hour for 8 hours is -2 times 8. You could have also written this as 8 times -2, and that would also be correct. Both ways, you'll get the final answer of -16. Then, you can say the temperature dropped 16 degrees. That is the answer to the first question. How many degrees did it drop? Notice we didn't use, to answer the question, we don't have to worry about where the temperature started to answer the first question. How many degrees did it drop? It dropped 16 degrees. Went down by 2, down by 2, down by 2, 8 times. It's going to drop 16 degrees. Now, to answer the bonus question, because we love our extra credit, we're definitely going to need to know that it started at 50 degrees. So this is the way I would set that one up. I would say 50 degrees plus -16. Now, if you want to do it a little bit easier, you could also say 50 minus 16, or you could start at the first one and convert it over to the other one. You're starting at 50 degrees and you're losing 16 degrees, or dropping 16 degrees. Either way, your answer is going to be that your final temperature is 34 degrees. So that's a little bit of real life practice. Temperature is definitely a place where you see these positive and negative numbers. You can get an opportunity to practice with them. Also, game playing, if you're collecting points in your hand, would be a great example as well. So hopefully those 2 examples were helpful. Couple of things to remember. Number 1, gaining a negative is the same as losing a positive. And also, losing a negative is a plus. Losing a negative is a plus. That was a little play on words there, because plus is sometimes used for addition. Anyway, but losing a negative, is a positive thing. I hope that lesson was helpful for you. Have a wonderful day.